Hi, Dan Stein here. Welcome back to another Facebook premiere. And today we're not going to be talking about here in Congress. We're not going to be talking about the federal government. We're going to talk about state and local activities because you know what? Many of you are active on this issue at the state and local level, involved with state legislatures and community organizations all across the country. And who better to tell us about what's happening? First here, Sherry Rendell, who is our Director of State and Local Engagement, and Susan Tully, who's right to my right, who is our Manager for Special Projects and Law Enforcement Liaison. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Sherry, let's talk a little about state and local. We're active, I think, right now in maybe 21 different states.
That is
give
correct.
us kind of a thumbnail of some of the highlights?
Sure. Well, we had a great legislative victory in Florida this year. This was not something that was assured despite having control of the governorship and the legislature. The Senate in Florida had never considered anti-sanctuary legislation. It had been passed through the House. But this year, with a strong Senate sponsor, we were able to get it through working with our sheriffs and our angel families and our activists. And they were able to go and testify. They made quite an impact. And we had a lot of opposition. This wasn't a walk in the park. ACLU, SPLC, United We Dream, and others fought us tooth and nail every step.
And we beat them all.
We beat them. And it was coming down to the wire. This was a nail biter. This was two different versions of the bill. We had literally facing adjournment at the week, and the House and Senate finally came together and passed the legislation, and it was sent to the governor's office. And the governor's campaigned on this issue. This is near and dear to his heart.
Big. Well, Susan, can you tell us anything more about what the activists did down in Florida?
Well, the activists really rallied behind this because, you know, we've gotten several states like Illinois and Colorado lining up to do sanctuary, and other people are saying, holy cow, we want to do just the opposite. They felt that it was important to make a statement. So kind of what you see happening across the country is this line being drawn in the sand, and they're lining up on both sides. So the activists were very engaged down there. We have some really dynamite angel families who've had some tremendous loss of family at the hands of illegal aliens, combined with some really tough sheriffs who do 287G. They know who's in their jails. They know that sanctuary, first and foremost, benefits criminal illegal aliens. Why would you pass legislation that supports them? So it was kind of just like a no-brainer for people with common sense.
So Sherry, do you think Florida's victory was significant?
It absolutely was significant. It follows with Texas. This is a populated state, and to get it through, and despite the fact that the ACLU and others were issuing travel warnings to...
They were out of control. Talk about irresponsible baby behavior. I mean, this is the juvenile behavior that we see from these organizations, trying to intimidate politicians, smearing good people, obviously fair, that's de rigueur, and then, you know, but it didn't work, right?
It did not, and it shows the importance of having all of the functions. This is why we have grassroots. This is why we have activists and members in all of these states, and we couldn't do it without you, and we thank those members each and every day because they're giving of their time and their energy to do something they believe strongly in.
So what other areas are we looking at right now?
Well, we had a victory in Arkansas, also anti-sanctuary legislation that made it through and was signed by the governor despite his concerns. This was another team effort. We had our sheriffs who came up to Washington, D.C. for our lobby day, and two strong angel moms right there, Sabina and Kathy, who fought this all the way through. Again, not an easy walk.
Susan, why do the sheriffs care so much about stopping these sanctuary laws?
Well, for instance, Sherry and I were up in Frederick County, Maryland yesterday. The sheriff's a 287G sheriff.
Good guy up there, Chuck Jenkins.
Absolutely. He showed us his stats, and when you see the arrests under 287G from his jail for this year, 12 out of 12 of the unaccompanied minors are MS-13. The sheriff told us these are the most violent criminals in his jail for the year. They're murderers and they're rapists. They're not assaults, they're not petty crime people. The most violent crimes being committed in his his jails are people who are not from this country and who are here illegally. They see clearly that it has changed the makeup of their counties. And so they feel very strongly that this is an area that they need to continue to encourage other sheriffs to get involved in, being 287G. And so firsthand, what it does to his community and who these people are.
And yet not all sheriffs are on board, right?
No, a lot of them are still they need education. They don't understand what sanctuary really is. Sanctuary is people who are already in the hands of law enforcement. You know, this misinformation that's been put out there about it's going to tear families apart or what. No, these are criminals who are already in the hands of law enforcement. So sanctuary only benefits criminal, illegal aliens. And I think if we could just continue to do that education across the board, people who are just unaware, uneducated on that issue, it's just it makes so much common sense.
Where else, Sherry?
Well, we had another victory in Missouri.
Missouri
was one where they have been prohibiting illegal aliens from receiving in-state tuition, and that's been a part of their budget. And this year, a senator he actually succeeded in putting an amendment through on the Senate side that took out that provision, which would have allowed illegal aliens to get in-state tuition, and it went to the House. The House put the provision back in. There was a conference committee. This was one where we worked hard with activists down there and legislators to make sure that provision was reinserted, and we were able to get that done. On the flip side, we just learned that Governor Paulus just signed sanctuary legislation in Colorado. And this is a situation where elections truly do have consequences. He signed the sanctuary legislation just yesterday afternoon. They're about to go out of session.
Were we hoping Jared Paulus was not going to sign that?
We were praying. That would have been a surprise
in his career.
Exactly. He was when he was a representative here in Congress. He was pro open borders, and we didn't expect him not to sign it. He did raise concerns throughout the process, so there was a slight hope. This was an instance where the Senate in Colorado flipped. And in the previous legislative session, we had the House pass sanctuary legislation, Colorado Senate passed anti-sanctuary legislation. Nothing went anywhere. With the election, we had the Senate that now passed sanctuary legislation.
So the alignment pretty much is if the Democrats control the legislatures, the assemblies, and the governorship, it's full-on sanctuary.
It's
pretty much, right?
Pretty much.
Is there an exception to that rule anywhere, if you think through the states?
Right now, we're hoping that Maine doesn't pass sanctuary legislation. We're fighting hard up there. We have Representative Lockman, who's been a friend to FAIR, and he's working really hard up there. We're hoping Connecticut doesn't expand its sanctuary legislation. We've been able to hold off on that. But it's an uphill battle. Those battles are usually time running out.
Well, you can find out about these battles by going to our website, fairus.org, checking out our Phone to Action page. We always keep you up to date with our Fair Take that comes out every week that gives you an update on what's happening at state and local governments all across the country, as well as, of course, on our regular newsletter, which you get with your membership. So, Susan, you're going to be in Virginia this afternoon, right? Susan is that's in Virginia. Susan is normally in Wisconsin, okay? Our field team, bare bones group of folks, fabulous staffers that we have, about 4 people who cover the entire country, as well as our state and local legislative department. That's another 3 people. So as you can see, small number of people handling the whole department. But Susan, who's here from Wisconsin, is going to be down in Culpeper. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So this is a sheriff who has been 287G, very supportive of the rule of law.
That means that they support state and local cooperation with the federal government in honoring detainers and enforcement cooperation generally.
Correct. The ACLU has gone after the sheriff for being a 287
Caring about
sheriff
immigration
and
law
caring about
enforcement,
immigration
right?
law.
ACLU doesn't want any immigration controls.
Right. So we have partnered with Culpeper County, with Sheriff Jenkins, Scott Jenkins in Culpeper, to do a panel tonight, a town hall forum on sanctuary. Why it's bad. We're bringing in a team of experts. So we have Jessica Vaughn from CIS, Matt O'Brien from our group of FAIR, two Angel families, Sheriff Jenkins from Frederick County, Sheriff Jenkins, of course, from Culpeper County.
So these are two Sheriff Jenkins.
So this is going to be an educational panel for the people, because we think it's important that when we take this story to the people and encourage people to really get involved in this issue and talk to their sheriffs about what they should be doing. This is your backyard. This is where it matters. And
this is what we do around the country.
Exactly. And so we're helping them educate the people in Culpeper County why this is so important to them, and get the information out. So the ACLU can't just file a lawsuit and try to end these things without people knowing what it is they're trying to actually accomplish.
Right, and we're going to close this up by, I'm going to give Sherry first and then Susan 15 seconds each to tell you why you should become a FAIR activist. Sherry, why should you become a FAIR activist?
The main reason for me is legislators want to hear from their constituents. And while we can give you the information about why a bill is good or bad, ultimately your stories matter. And that's why we want all of you to join our fight.
Susan?
Activism is what it's all about, because, as Sherry said, when it comes down to making an impact on the people who represent you at the local level, state, or even in Congress, you have to be a constituent. So we can talk about it as experts, but when it comes to actually making the change happen, it's the activists in their backyards that make the difference, and we need your help.
Sherry, Susan, two top door professionals who are a pleasure to work with. Your voice, your vision, your values, that's what we're here to help achieve. Thanks for joining us on this Facebook premiere. I'm Dan Stein, and we'll see you again shortly.